Welcome to Toffee Blue View, your source for all things Everton. I'm Jerry. I have a new face, depending on how you're receiving this information. Joining me today, I've got Paul. Paul, how are things with you, man?
I'm cool, man. A little bit warm because the sun is cracking the flags here in Liverpool. I've just got home from work, but I'm looking forward to this, man.
Yeah,
Other than that, I'm great.
I would ask you the temperature there, but I would not know how to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit.
I don't have it. Truth be told. 21 Celsius for anyone who can. 21 Celsius for anyone who can.
Yeah, lately here it's been like ridiculously humid. It's been like in the mid 80s to the 90s. It's just and it sounds way more dramatic in Fahrenheit. So Paul, just for everybody listening and watching out there, he writes for the Toffee Blues website, but additionally he writes pieces for the Liverpool Echo. He does their fan juries. He appears every fortnight to kind of give Everton views from a supporter, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So, Paul, let's talk Silva, okay? For listeners and viewers out there, Paul has an article on the Toffee Blues website that, if I summarize it in like half a second, 1 second, it's basically we have to make sure we give Silva some time. We got to be patient, okay? So, Paul, your opinion on the Silva appointment, how are you feeling about this?
I'm cautiously optimistic. I mean, if you'd have offered me Silva back in November when the choices were him or Big Sam, realistically, or Martin O'Neill, then he was by far and away the guy we wanted out of that choice. It got to the summer now, and I wasn't sure whether we were going to go back for him or whether that ship had sailed, because he left the Watford job in bad circumstances during that time. So I thought maybe it's kind of we cast our net further afield and try and get another Hollywood name. Mashiri's talked about when he first brought Koeman in, about how North West England was the Hollywood of football, in his own words. So I thought, knowing Farhad Mashiri, maybe he was only so desperate for Silva at the time because he just didn't want Sam Allardyce like the rest of us didn't. But now that we've made it to the summer and that we've got a bit of breathing room and a few managers are maybe out of contract or looking for a move, maybe he would feel right. I tried Silva, we didn't get him. Whatever, we move on now. I'll go get myself a bit of name, but obviously not. Obviously, Silva is the guy who he is dead set on. He clearly went back for him first chance he got, and I don't really think we were ever in any serious talks with anyone else. I mean, the Fonseca rumours kept cropping up, but I don't really feel there was anything in that. He spoke to West Ham, didn't he? But I don't even think he was even serious about West Ham. I think he would just use the links to get his new deal with Shakhtar. And other than that, what other managers were we linked with apart from Silva? It just appears like he was a one-horse race all along. And if he's good enough for Mashiri, my opinion is then, okay, I'm going to trust Mashiri's judgment. Oh, he's made some mistakes, the owner, since he came in. Ronald Koeman didn't work out. He took too long to hire Allardyce. He left Unsworth in the line of fire a bit too long. Other than that, I'd say Mashiri's made some pretty good decisions so far for the club. He's got the new stadium up and running. He's wiped the debt. He's trying to think of the word. Changed a lot about the club's infrastructure that really, really needed changing. It was about 10, 15 years the club was just ran in a way that is not befitting of a Premier League football club that makes millions and millions of pounds. So my overall opinion of Silva is, from a football point of view, okay, he's not worked for any massive clubs before Everton, but neither did Paulo Fonseca. Fonseca is doing well in Ukraine. Silva has done just as well, if not better, in Greece. He went the entire league unbeaten. He did okay in Portugal. People like to harp on saying, oh, he's been relegated by Hull. Well, come on. Our Hull were dead and buried before he even got there. The fact that Hull even got their hands out of the grave. Now, they didn't quite rise from the dead, but they certainly got their heads back above the soil and nearly got out again. So that is a testament to him. And Watford played really, really, really good football. I felt they were a shoo-in for finishing. They would have been Burnley. I think if Silva had stayed there for the entire season, and if what happened with us didn't happen, like he didn't have his head turned, he didn't clearly lose interest, I think Watford would be that team finishing 7th this season, not Burnley. Wow. I think they would have had their really, really good season, they would not have tailed off. They would have got to 7th place. And if Marco Silva got Watford to 7th place and we got to the end of the season and Allardyce had gone, would everyone be happy with Silva then? I think people really would be. I genuinely do. So I'm willing to give Marco Silva a lot of breathing space. I'm reasonably happy with the appointments. Yes, we all wanted a big Hollywood name, but it's not realistic. Arsenal are looking for a manager. They've took Emery. Tuchel's gone to PSG. Conte apparently wants to go back to Italy. There isn't a lot of great names available who are willing to come to Everton. So Silva is the next best thing. He's a young guy. He's ambitious. He has had success other places, and he has shown that he can improve teams. Mm-hmm. He improved Hull a hell of a lot when he got there, and he improved Watford. And I think Watford would have stayed the course over the entire season had he stayed there the entire season and had the drama that happened with us not occurred. So that was a bit long-winded, but I am happy with Silva. I think Silva is a very, very good choice. He's a lot better than Allardyce, and I think he is, on paper at the moment, he is just as good an appointment as Fonseca would be.
Yeah, I'm one of those, and actually we have some other people here at the channel that thought Fonseca was going to be our guy for a while. You look at the two of them on paper; they are pretty similar. I would say Silva. The thing that really marks people off of Silva is, and these are people that look at things very black and white. All right.
Yes.
The relegation at Hull and the fact that he was able to have his head turned at Watford.
Yes.
That was the thing that kind of gave me pause, is the fact that he seemed to kind of be hopping from job to job, and he hasn't really had a long stretch. That was my main reason why I wanted Fonseca, because it seemed like Fonseca was able to kind of get some roots. And I feel like that's what we need, is someone that's going to dig in for a while and commit.
Yeah.
So I thought Fonseca was going to be our guy. And then I read all over Twitter. Again, Twitter, what do you believe? How do you believe? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I'm supposed to believe this, but the rumors were that Fonseca was asking for these crazy clauses in his contract about release clause for Champions League teams that might come in for him and that kind of thing. Yeah. All right? Now, that could just be people trying to feel better about themselves because he didn't choose their club. You know, that could be total fluff, whatever. But at the same time, that could be true. And honestly, I wouldn't want a manager to have that kind of clause in his contract at our club. I wouldn't want that. And then I think you mentioned something about Moshiri. You trust Moshiri's judgment. Guy's got a lot of money. And somebody that has that kind of money, I don't feel like they make a lot of the same mistakes over and over again. Right? I think we've seen some changes in terms of the way things are done. He doesn't call Jim White anymore. He's not texting Jim White, and he's not using him as a mouthpiece. Hey, what a start. Let's get past that. Let's start actually considering communications from the club. Let's actually do it like that. So I feel like you're starting to see some improvements. Bronze is night and day compared to Walsh. All right?
Yes.
I still feel like Walsh has some value as a scout. I do. And I wish him well. He's probably some super nice guy. He did unearth some players for us, good. But I don't think he fully understood the job. I feel Bronze comes in there like he looks like he's been there for years.
Yeah, he has an aura about him, doesn't he?
He just seems like, you know what, this is a place I'm doing this again. This is something I've done before, and I'm going to do this again. And he approves of Silva. That, to me, I'm in.
Seals the deal.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they've been talking for a while. That's the thing. Supposedly they talked before Bronze was appointed. So apparently we pretty much had decided on Silva before Bronze was appointed, and that was I think you were right earlier.
Sam was keeping the seat warm. Or a lot of people were worried in the summer. Oh, Sam's talking about how the pre-season's going to be organised, about targets he's got in mind for next summer. A lot of people, I think, were starting to really panic, thinking, well, Sam's actually might be staying here. Like, why would he be saying all this if he's going to leave in June?
Yeah.
I don't think that was ever really a danger. I think Sam was definitely going. Sam probably knew he was going in the back of his mind, and he was just saying things to just massage his own ego. He's not going to sit there and say, oh, yeah, there's no point me organising a pre-season because I won't be here. What manager's going to do that? And I think he was always leaving. Moshiri never intended to keep him past June. He was only here because we couldn't get Marco Silva back in November
Yeah.
when the problems first arise. Marco Silva, the day he got sacked from Watford, I think he probably had someone calling him up and saying, just sit tight for a few months, go on vacation, turn off your phone. Any club tries to get into contact with you and offer you a job, you just tell them you're not interested, because as soon as the season ends, we've got this job waiting up for you. And he's thought, I'll have some of that. And obviously they've gone and spoke to Brands, and Brands approves of this. So I think it was always very much a long-term plan. This was always in place. This wasn't just something that was decided a couple of weeks ago or a few weeks before the end of the season. I think he was always coming in. Brands was always coming in. Brands approved of him straight away, and basically Sam Allardyce did not have a prayer of staying, and probably neither did. I don't know the circumstances of Walsh leaving. I don't know whether Walsh decided to go of his own accord or whether he was kind of shown the door like Sam was, but I think this was always, as soon as Ronald Koeman left the club, this was the plan Moshiri had in mind.
Yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they offered him a different position, scouting position to stay on, because I'm guessing they do value that about him. But if you're Walsh, you're sitting there, I mean, your pride probably prevents you from getting demoted,
Yes, probably had to clear his office out for Brands, give up his parking space, things like that. I don't think he
that would
really.
sting.
I don't think exactly. Yeah. Saying that, I don't even know if Steve Walsh had an office at Finch Farm. I've always wondered that. What did Steve Walsh do, like day to day? Was he on the training pitch? Did he sit in a room? Did he have his own office somewhere else and people would just call him? He was a kind of a mysterious figure at the club, Walsh. I mean, we saw him occasionally on Twitter. You'd see photos of him, in football stadiums around Europe. He's obviously doing a bit of scouting, but when he wasn't off abroad scouting players or trying to do deals, I don't really know what he did day to day. I mean, what was the ins and outs of it? Did he sit at Finch Farm? Did he work at Goodison? Did he kind of just travel all around the country? Whereas Brands has said he's bought a house down the road from Finch Farm. He will be there pretty much every day, that he's not, off doing the scouting himself. So I think Brands will be a very visible figure around the club, and Steve Walsh, for a lot of his tenure, really wasn't.
He was just very...
At least not to us fans, he wasn't, yeah.
He seemed like such a quiet guy,
Yeah,
but not the kind of quiet confidence. It was almost like, I'm quiet because I'm uncertain.
Yes, exactly. No one really... I don't think I ever really listened to him do an extended interview. Maybe he did and I just haven't found it anywhere, but I never listened to Steve Walsh and had him say things, like explain properly what his plan for the club was, what he wanted to do for the club, what he wanted to bring in. It just kind of seemed to be he just flitted sort of thing, and I don't imagine his relationship with Koeman kind of is going to be anywhere close to what the relationship of what Brands and Silva was. Brands is very much above Silva, and Silva reports to Brands, and they seem like they're both very happy with that arrangement, whereas I don't imagine Ronald Koeman would answer to Steve Walsh.
Yeah.
I don't think Ronald Koeman was the type of guy who'd answer to anyone other than the owner.
And he was supposed to.
And that's not a healthy relationship.
You're totally right.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Because you could tell they were disagreeing about targets. I think we would have had a striker in earlier if they agreed on targets. I think we would have actually gotten several more players in if they agreed more. Just a strange, and I think Bronze would have put the kibosh on some of those Koeman signings as well.
Yes. If I can imagine if Steve Walsh said to Ronald Koeman, "No, I don't think we should buy that player," I think Ronald Koeman would turn around and say, "I want the player. I will go," and that's all there is to it.
Yep.
Sort of thing. Whereas if Silva says to Brands, Marcel Brands, "I really like this player. Can we buy him?" I'd imagine if Marcel Brands says, "No, I don't see the value he brings," then that's the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
Move on to someone else. Whereas the uncertainty, we didn't know who was above who with Brands, with Koeman and Walsh. Whereas with Brands and Silva, there is very much a hierarchy, and I like that. It gives everyone a lot more clarity, and everyone knows if a player comes in and he does really well, we know who deserves the credit, and if a player comes in and does really badly, we know who to blame. Whereas that didn't seem to be the case. Like, who on earth bought some of the players we bought? Like, Klasan could come in. Was Klasan a Walsh signing? Was he a Koeman signing? Was Rooney a Kenwright signing? The point I'm making is we know who calls the shots now, and every club, business, you need clarity. We need to know who's in charge. We need to know who the final stop is on the decision-making process.
Yeah.
which I'm really happy about.
Whole last season, just an entire season of finger pointing and blame.
Yeah, just an entire cluster.
Yeah, what's the
as
point?
they say.
How about we just, get together and say screw blame? Let's just figure out a way to make it work. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like in Silva and Bronze, you've got two guys who just seem like they're on the same page.
Yes.
They sit there and they speak together and they're like, hey, we're going to work together. We're going to figure this out. And they just seem like the same kind of guy, too.
Yes, similar personalities.
Neither one is a loudmouth, but they're both strong guys who will speak up when they need to. Yeah, man.
Exactly.
I think this is. I'm feeling optimistic. Now,
I am.
I'm not going to say we're going to win the league because I'm not that guy. I never say that ever. We'll leave that to other teams. So yes, the teams that petition. Anyway, so. Let's really quickly talk about formation, all right? And who Silva actually has at his disposal this season. Silva's come out and said he really is not thinking about a huge amount of signings, which means he's probably trying to retain a lot of the ones that we have. But they also said we do have a huge squad, so they understand the need to shave some of those right off the top. So there'll be some that'll be going just immediately, and we'll get into those later on. Or at least one of them later on. But Silva, in order to kind of get an idea of who Silva might want to utilize, Silva at Watford liked to run a 4-2-3-1. 4-2-3-1. What happened to my voice? 4-2-3-1 that would kind of shift into a 4-3-3 defensively.
Yeah.
And he would rock those, I guess it's two box-to-box / defensive center mids together, and he would have another center mid that was basically Tom Cleverley, who was a little bit more offensive but still had those defensive capabilities. All right?
Yes.
The weird thing about that is the fact that the player we have that's most similar to Tom Cleverley in the way he plays, I think you'd have to give that to either Tom Davies or Clausen.
Maybe McCarthy if McCarthy sticks around.
Maybe McCarthy. That's a tough call. Those three guys though, but I think everyone is pinpointing Sigurdsson for that third center mid role. Okay, so the question I have is: do you think that Silva's gonna shift his formation and the way he chooses to play around our personnel, or do you think he's gonna basically try to wedge certain players in certain positions on the field?
Yeah, I think it just depends on the players he can get in. If he can get all of his targets in, then I think he will play a formation that he thinks suits the players, whereas he just kind of has to make do of what he has, which is what Koeman had to do a lot in that first season.
Yeah.
A lot of those players were clearly not his players, and he was just using them because it was either that or use kids. Then I think it will just solely depend on that. I mean, if we only get maybe one striker in, or we don't get any at all, I think he will just have to play with Tucson with the two wingers either side of him and play with a number 10 behind. Whereas if we can get a striker in, if we can get the high energy midfielder that he wants, then we can probably do away with the wingers and just have three forwards with three midfielders behind them. Whereas if we can't get the forwards in, he might just have to stick with playing players out wide and whipping the ball into the box. So it would mean a stay of execution for the likes of Balassi, another chance for maybe the likes of... I mean, I really, really like Lookman, and I would like to see him used in that sort of wide forward type role and not kind of throw him out on the wing type thing. I don't really want to see that, but if we've left with not many options, that might be what we have to do. So it could be a case of a striker with Walcott and another guy on the left, preferably not Balassi, preferably someone new. Or if we can't get the signs, if he can't get that high energy midfielder, if he can't get that perfect number 10 guy to play like Cleverley, who kind of sits behind the striker but comes back further in field when he needs him to, if he can't get a player who he likes, or we don't have a player who he thinks can do that position well enough, then I think he'll just have to find a formation that works with the players we have and stick with it, which would probably be the flat 4-3-3 that we have, maybe.
Where do you think?
I think we play for.
Where do you think Sigurdsson fits in?
I would like to see Sigurdsson play as the number 10, preferably. I mean, he can play on the left. I know when he first came in last season, he got put out on the left, and he didn't look particularly impressive, and everyone kind of came out and said afterwards, well, this is what led to his downfall at Spurs. Spurs played him out of position. It didn't work for him. Everyone thought he was terrible. He went back to Swansea, played in his real position, and he did well. And now he's come here, and we're doing the same mistake Spurs did. Whereas I think Sigurdsson, can play out on the left. I do think he can cross the ball. He's got a great foot. He can get out wide. He can slow the play down when he needs to. But I would like to see him play as a number 10. I want to see a Sigurdsson who takes the ball 30 yards from goal, can march forward 10 yards, and maybe let a fierce rocket go and bag us a goal. Or a Sigurdsson who can get the ball, get his head up, and maybe play a striker in, sort of thing. He can play out wide and get the ball over the top and to a striker preferably. But I would like to see him behind a striker and be able to get his head up more and just have more opportunities on goal, because I think he is a very, very good finisher. I would really like to see Sigurdsson hit double figures in goals next season.
Yeah, agreed. I actually expected more from him on set pieces, to be honest, in terms of goal production. I was expecting way more, because he's just one of those people I immediately attribute, before he even came to us, I attribute as a wizard at that kind of stuff. But the way I used to view Baines when he still took those.
Yes.
You know?
He's got a great highlight reel. He's got a great video on YouTube, the compilation video of his goals for Swansea and Spurs. But there wasn't too. I think maybe the goal against, was it Southampton away, and maybe the one against Split in Europe. But they were the only memorable goals that I remember him scoring. I know he scored a few other ones too, but they were the only goals that I thought, wow, that's took the breath away type goal. He only scored when we won 2 of them, but he seemed to score them all the time for Swansea, and seems to be the only type of goals he scored before he got here. Yeah,
he just got a little chip. I think it was yesterday or day before for Iceland. Nice little goal.
Oh, I've seen that.
He was super close to the keeper, and he just chipped it right. Oh, so
naughty.
Yeah, but I was just like to see him playing. That's all I was worried about.
Yeah,
get him in.
Yeah, get him back. It's back for the pre-season.
So that's the question that because I don't want him playing wide either. I'd love to see him playing as a number 10, but it's kind of weird the way Silva views his center mids and the way and if he's going to kind of alter that Tom Cleverley role to have it be a little bit more for a center attacking mid. It's just it's a strange. Yeah, I don't know. And also, I think Silva likes to play a pretty high line in terms of defense. And I don't know if Keane's really built for that in terms of speed. No. So
Keane's not mobile enough.
Yeah. So, I think we could see Holgate getting more minutes, which I'm totally fine with. And also he likes his left back and right back to be pushing forward, a lot of speed, getting forward. And I'm a huge, big Leighton Baines guy, but he's getting older. I know what that's like. And I don't know if he's going to be able to get forward with the amount of speed and recover the way he would need to in the Silva formation and playing that style. So, there's just some players that have been starting for us regularly, and I'll be really curious to see how Silva uses them.
Yeah. I really hope that he has the sort of impact on the club that Martinez did in his first season. Not just on the pitch, but off the pitch too. When Martinez first arrived, everyone had gotten so used to David Moyes, and David Moyes did a very, very good job for the majority of his reign. But towards the end, it kind of just got very, very same old, same old. His attitudes kind of wore supporters down, sort of thing. Whereas when Martinez arrived, it was like the world was sunny again. Yeah. Fans believed again. Like, he talked about the club's history. He talked about bringing Howard Kendall to Finch Farm. It just it made Evertonians sort of lift their heads up again and say, you know what, I really, really love my club. I love the past that's happened, and I really, really am optimistic about the future. Yeah. And I really, really like this guy kind of singing our praises and making us feel good. I hope that sort of thing happens again. I don't want a manager to just harp on about the past to distract from the present, but I really want a manager who sort of makes me believe that good times are coming, type thing, and that he's here for the long haul. He's not just a manager who's here he's just stopping in and he's just getting his big fat contract and then he's going to probably move on eventually, which is the impression I got with Koeman. Yeah. I had time for Koeman, but I never got the impression that Koeman really cared for Everton Football Club at all. Yeah. And he didn't really particularly... I doubt Ronald Koeman sits at home right now really, really down about the fact that it didn't work out at Everton. I think he's kind of not at all. he's not given Everton a thought since the week after he left.
Yeah.
Whereas Martinez, you can tell, Martinez is still very, very down about it now. He bought into the ethos of the club. He really embraced being the Everton manager. He embraced the city. He embraced the fans. He embraced the attitudes of everyone involved at the club. And I'd really, really like to see Silva do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope he's got the type of personality to do that, because he seems like he's a very warm character, is what I'm saying. I mean, he's not too emotional, but he seems like he's the type of guy who you could have a conversation with, and he would make you he could put you under a spell as you talk to him, sort of thing. Whereas Ronald Koeman and David Moyes before him, to a lesser extent, were just very much. I'm trying to think of the way to put this. They didn't inspire it. I think you were hoping it was going to work out under them, but it was a case of, well, I don't really think this guy believes half the stuff he's saying, so why should I?
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, definitely. I see Silva as being kind of a happy medium between Martinez and Koeman, wherein Martinez, he would talk so much, but what was he actually saying? You know, that's
exactly.
You know, and you saw the optimism. He was he seemed like a really nice guy, but it seemed like his optimism behind it, there was this element of not being always able to follow through with what he was kind of promising. Koeman under promised, and he was just the most. There was no emotion. He was like a blank piece of paper. He was just, you know, and you weren't getting much out of him at all. And the thing is, apparently he was like that with the players too. But with Silva, when he speaks, it seems to me like he's using his words carefully. Like he's focusing on how to. He's mindful. He's mindful of what he says, and he's got this huge reputation of being very good with players, which is the opposite of what Koeman apparently was doing. Apparently Koeman was not great in that department. So I'm hoping that he's bridging that gap between the two. You're not going to get a lot of rah-rah stuff out of Silva.
I don't need to see a manager jumping up and down and running along the touchline and high-fiving players. I don't need to see all that. I just want to see a manager who looks as if he cares about the club and that he is enjoying the victories as much as we're enjoying them. Yeah. But he realises that at the end of the day, there is another game next week. We have to win that one as well.
But also he realises it's not about him. Because some managers like to make it about them, don't they?
Yes. He's not the star of the show, but he's just happy to put the show on for everybody. He's happy that people are enjoying the show. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. I mean, really. If people are appreciating the work, you know. Yeah. So, anyway, this Silva guy, it's starting to grow on us. You know, we weren't the most enthusiastic when we started to hear this was legit, but to be honest with you, I'm all systems go, and right now he's the guy I want in there. So. Yep.
Me too.
All right. So that is the end of our "Oh my God, we have a manager" segment. If you are liking the videos, please subscribe. We have just gotten over 820 subs. Yeah, baby steps, getting there. It's awesome. Leave a like, leave a comment, all that hotness. Check out Paul in two different ways. You check him on the Toffee Blues website. He's got some analysis on there. Like we teased earlier, he's got that article about giving Silva some time. Check that out. It is there. You'll get the full version. We teased it. Also, I think during the season, he'll be on the Liverpool Echo website, writing for them on the fan jury. Okay? And that is just during the season, correct?
Yes, I believe. They've taken the summer off now because they obviously were having the mid-season break, but when the season starts up again, I imagine I'll be asked to contribute. I've been doing that about 5 seasons now.
Awesome.
I think the first season was it was David Moyes' last season was my first season, and they've asked me back every time, which I'm happy to do.
That right there I see as a mark of a confidence boost right there. If they're asking you back, you're doing all right.
Yes.
It's weird. You said Moyes last season, and I was like, that's when I started supporting Everton because they just started playing their games on the television then. That's how fledgling I am into this. I'm kidding. Anyway, so well, that's it. Everybody check out Paul's stuff. We have to go do more videos though. All right. So I guess we'll see you later. Bye.